travelers, welcome back to the Traveling Cheesehead. I'm Cheesehead Girl. I'm so happy you found me today. I'm excited to share with you my recap from my recent Aruba trip. If we are meeting for the first time and you've never been to my channel, welcome. This channel is about you, the independent traveler. You want to go and take your own journeys and plan your own trips. You're just maybe not sure how to do that. And I'm going to share with you my journeys, my travels, and all the tips and tricks that I've learned along the way so you don't have to do all the work that I've done. If this sounds like you, consider subscribing now. So if you've been watching my channel, you know I have a whole series on my trip to Aruba. And today I want to recap my final thoughts on my trip to Aruba, what I felt about the choices I made, how everything worked out, and maybe some things I would do or not do differently next time. One of my favorite photo places was San Nicolas. I had heard about the street art and even had seen some pictures online prior to going and knew this was something that I really wanted to go see and do because I do have an appreciation for art. I'm not a whole artsy fartsy kind of person, but I do appreciate cool things and beautiful things. And San Nicolas definitely delivered. The street art there is amazing. It was really cool to see some of the artists actively working on their pieces and seeing them come together. The 3D stuff was really cool, where it kind of like jumped out of the wall at you, and the colors and the vibrancy. I can tell San Nicolas is an area that maybe is going through a resurgence and had been forgotten about for many years because of the refinery closing and things, but now it's kind of coming back. And we were able to speak to the tourism guide there, and he was so excited about all the new things that were coming up in San Nicolas to help bring tourism back down to that area of the island. It is definitely overlooked by most people. Most people stay at Eagle Beach, Palm Beach, and never venture out. If you are brave enough to get down there, it's not a scary place as most people think. I think the vibe was fine. There were plenty of locals hanging out and everything, but it was very quiet, almost deserted. So I wouldn't worry about going down there. I wouldn't worry about wandering around and taking photos of the beautiful artwork. It's super worth it. You definitely have to go see that. Okay, so as you know, we had the debate when I was in my planning video, flamingo or no flamingo. We really wanted to go see them because it's kind of cool to be able to swim with flamingos and feed them and all that kind of stuff. It's just the thought of it. The other hand was there's literally only 6 flamingos. Yes, it's on a private island, but we're on an island already with a beautiful beaches everywhere. So why do we have to spend $125 a person to go out to this island? What is it really going to offer us other than these 6 flamingos? So we had been going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. We finally decided we would do it. So the morning we got up, we went down there at 6 a.m., probably got there about 6:15, and there was already a line forming. We had gone down the day before just to ask them, like, do you know what your occupancy is? Do you know how many passes are available tomorrow? What time do we have to be there? Things like that. And they really couldn't tell us much other than, the ticket office opens at 7 a.m. and people start lining up usually about 6 a.m. So that's all they could tell us. And so we were kind of hoping that we would get, an inside scoop and not have to go stand in line and just kind of show up when we needed to. But unfortunately, that's not the case. They kind of keep it under, close to the cuff, and they don't let you know ahead of time. So you just gotta get up early and go down there and hope that you're one of the first 50 people or 75 or whatever the number of passes are that they're giving out that day. Just hope that you and whoever you're traveling with make it. We were probably the 8th couple or 8th person, 7 and 8. There was about 4 or 5 couples ahead of us. So we were able to get our tickets and get out there. We were probably out there by 7:30, maybe 7:40. It's only about a 10-minute boat ride. But it was cool. It was fun. The island is really nice. It has lots of palapas and palm trees and the loungers and everything. So we found a really great spot in the shade where we could just lounge around. It was quiet in the morning, so I highly recommend getting there early. Even if you don't want to get up early that day. You can always take a nap on the beach. That's what I did. But if you wait and go later, first of all, the beach will be very crowded. It's going to be difficult for you to find lounge chairs. Second of all, the Flamingos have had it with people by that point in time. They're just like done with it, so they're not going to be as likely to eat out of your hand. And with it being so crowded, you're not going to get the cool pictures that are unobstructed. So it's definitely worth it getting up super early and making a full day of it. We didn't leave until probably 6 or 6:30 in the evening, and had gotten there at 7:30 in the morning. You do get a full lunch and beverage with your ticket, and it was good. I mean, we also brought stuff with us. We brought some snacks with us. We brought some beverages with us. We had a small collapsible cooler that we brought. You just kind of got to keep that stuff on the DL because you're not really supposed to bring that stuff out there, I don't think. Nobody said anything. Nobody checked our bags. But I imagine they would want you to buy their stuff, so they would probably, you can't bring a whole-on cooler out there. We just had one that was small and fit in our bag. We put some ice and a couple drinks in there, and that was it. And that worked for us. But it was a great day. We really enjoyed it. Even though it was $250, it was an experience that we won't forget. It was something that we had to do, and we had a great time. The food was good, the lunch was good, and it was just a great relaxing day. So if you get the chance to go out to Renaissance Island, go ahead, take it. If it's in your budget and you can make it work, go take the day and do it. It was well worth it for us. Okay, so now let's talk about the food places, because no vacation is complete without food. Obviously, we had our own condo, so we pretty much made breakfast most days in the condo, and we would have a little snack while we were out, and then have dinner usually back at the condo as well. Superfoods is great for that. They had like the pre-seasoned, pre-marinated meats that we could just cook up back at the condo. And they had certainly plenty of breakfast options as well. However, you're on an island, you're on vacation, you don't want to cook every meal. So we definitely knew there were some places that we really wanted to go and check out. First of all was Z Rovers. Now, I have seen different variations of reviews on Z Rovers. Some people think it's the best thing since sliced bread. Other people think it's not worth your time and money. I really liked it. I'm not a big fried fish person at all, but I do like seafood. I do like fresh fish, and I like to sample the local stuff. So we went and decided that we were going to try to have Z Rovers, and we went down, got there about noon on a weekday, and it was already pretty busy. We had a line to stand in. It wasn't terrible, maybe 4 or 5 people long. And there's only a couple tables that were seaside that were left when we got down there. But it's cool because you tell them what you want, they put it in a bag, they weigh it, you pay, and it was reasonable. It wasn't super expensive. And then they take your order and they cook it up for you right at the grill. So there's a cook there who is pretty YouTube famous, and it was really cool to see him, say hello to him, introduce ourselves. I told him, I joked with him that he's YouTube famous and that, that he's going to be in my video as well. And he laughed at that and thought it was pretty funny. But the food is really good. I've heard some people complaining oh, it's so much work to peel the shrimp. And it's not. It is not that much work. It is not that difficult, and the food is so good and so fresh. They caught it that morning, so you can't get fresher than caught that morning, made right there. So it was really, really good. Reasonable price. It filled us up for the whole afternoon. We did not need to eat anything else that day, so that was amazing. It's also great to couple with your trip to San Nicolas, because it's kind of towards that end of the island where you can go to San Nicolas and then Baby Beach, and that's the day that we made, and it was like a perfect day. We stopped and ate, went down to San Nicolas, walked around a little bit, and then went to Baby Beach and just vegged out for the rest of the afternoon, went swimming, everything before heading back. So Z-Rovers gets my thumbs up on quality of food, atmosphere, price, everything. Definitely go check it out. It's one of the local favorites and it's one of the tourist favorites. So another great place that we really wanted to try was Eduardos Beach Shack. This was located on Palm Beach. We knew about where it was, but kind of had to find it. When we finally found it, third time's a charm, because the first time we found it, it was closed. The second time we ran out of time. We were somewhere else and weren't going to make it back. At least we knew what time it was open. And then finally the third day we were able to catch them open. We had it's a little shack, so they do like smoothies and fruit bowls and acai bowls, and it looked like super healthy, super yummy, online and everything, and then other people's videos and reviews. And so we knew we wanted to try that, and we loved it. We got smoothies first, which are $5 each, and they were good size, really well made, really tasty. And then we got this acai fruit bowl, which was amazing. I kind of wish we had had time to go back and get more of the fruit bowls, because they were so good. Like granola and like dragon fruit and all this stuff, and like it was super refreshing, super yummy. So Eduardo's is right in the heart of Palm Beach, kind of very centrally located. It's right by Palm Pier. So if you're looking for it, it's kind of hidden back up against like the hotel, where the hotels are, along the main path that cuts all the way through Palm Beach area. So definitely try out Eduardo's. It was delicious. Okay, so moving on to our next food item, because it's all about food, is the pancake houses. Okay, Aruba is a Dutch island. Aruba has Dutch pancakes, and I love Dutch pancakes. They're very different than American pancakes because they tend to be more savory. So I was really excited to find out that they had some good choices for Dutch pancake houses. One of which was the Dutch Pancake House. We went there actually on our last morning. It is located right really at the Renaissance Hotel. There's like a little shopping area, and it's located at the back of that shopping area, kind of right by the parking lot. But it is kind of part of the resort for Renaissance. So if you're looking for it, that's where it's located. It's in Oranjestad. We chose to eat there the last morning because from where we were staying in Palm Beach, it was kind of on the way to the airport. So it was perfect for us to stop by and have a brunch there before heading to the airport to leave. But any case, their prices were reasonable. The sizes were really good. It was very generous portions. I found it a little salty. That was my only negative, was that it was a little salty, and the atmosphere wasn't as nice because you're kind of overseeing a parking lot. But it was fine. It was decent. We also earlier in the trip had gone to Linda's. We saw Diana's. Diana's is also in Palm Beach, but it's on the other side. It's on like the other side of the street from where the resorts are. It's where all the shopping is, and it's upstairs. But we did not end up eating at Diana's, so I cannot comment on how hers was. We did eat at Linda's, which is a little bit further inland from Palm Beach. Still, you probably need a car or a taxi to get there unless you're a very avid walker. But it was really good. Linda's was the one I liked the most. They had the build your own pancake, so you could have whatever you wanted, and you could also order the pre-made or prefab ones as well that they've already designed for you. But they were really good, and definitely was worth it. Really enjoyed it. I much preferred Linda's over Dutch Pancake House. It was less salty, the flavor was better, the service was great, the atmosphere was a little nicer. So all in all, Linda's was it for me, and that was my winner. Finally, we really wanted to do Gianni's, which I know seems like very touristy. For those of you who don't know, Gianni's is I believe it's a chain of restaurants that are located throughout the Caribbean, and it's an Italian restaurant, and they do this signature Parmesan cheese bowl pasta where they come and light it up at your table. They light the cheese on fire with a little bit of alcohol, and then they make the pasta in the cheese. And and they do it tableside, so it's all like a show right in front of you. So we did that for our last dinner that night. We wanted to make sure that we had something special for that dinner, and we went there for our last meal. The pasta was very good. It is pricey. It's not the cheapest thing in the world. And that was kind of our fancy night out. But it was good. We really liked it. The thing is, in Palm Beach, there are no shortage of restaurants. You walk along there, there's this one little stretch where there's probably about 10 restaurants in like a 5-minute stretch walking. So you have tons and tons and tons and tons of choices of restaurants and where to eat all over Aruba, but especially the Palm Beach area. And we just felt that Gianni's was something a little special, something we had never done, and that's where we decided to splurge. So we thought it was worth our money, worth our while. It made for a fun night. We had plenty of leftover to take back to the condo and eat the next day. So it was definitely worth it for us. All right, so we're not big partiers, big drinkers, but something we really wanted to do on this trip was go check out some of the local happy hours and mix in and have some fun. So we ended up going to, we went to 3 places for happy hour. On the Palm Pier, that one was okay. I don't even know the name of the restaurant. That was our first night, so we were kind of not knowing where we were going. But it was all right. And then they had like buy one get one free drinks, so that was a decent deal. They didn't really have much music or entertainment though, so it was just kind of for the drinks. Then we went to Boogaloo's, which is out on the pier, kind of more midway through Palm Beach. Really enjoyed that. They had, the waitresses come out and do sing karaoke during happy hour and dance and encourage everybody to participate and everything, so it's a lot of fun. They just create a great atmosphere. The only thing there is you have to be careful because happy hour is only from 6 to 6:30. It's not from 6 to 7. But the waitresses keep singing, so you think it's happy hour. So just be wary of that, because we got caught once. One of the nights we were there, we thought that happy hour went for the whole hour, hence the name happy hour, and it was only 30 minutes. And we had ordered a drink and got our bill and was like, wait a minute, why is this one so much more than the other ones? And the bartender informed us that we ordered it after happy hour had ended, even though the waitresses were still singing. Happy hour was officially over. So just be careful, mind your time. I know it's difficult to do that when you're on island time because you're not paying attention, you're just kind of going with the flow, but it can cost you a bit of money. So finally we went to Moomba's. The Moomba's is a little bit down the beach. It's maybe a 15 to 20 minute walk along the beachfront down towards the Ritz. We enjoyed Moomba's as well. I kind of liked their layout of Moomba's because they are right on the beach. They have beach loungers and everything right there. You go inside the bar to order. The bartenders are very friendly, everything. Their happy hour is good. They had like $4 drinks. But again, you have to read the stuff. The menu shows all these drinks. It says like happy hour drinks $4, and then it has a whole list of drinks. The problem is that there's underneath there are drinks that are like $7 and drinks that are $10. The $10 drinks are not included in happy hour. I learned the hard way when I ordered a mudslide, and it was $10 during happy hour, and I was like, hey, I thought it was $4, and they're like, no, that one's not included. But Moomba's was fun. They usually have a live band at night. They usually have good dance music, everything. It's more of a party atmosphere, I would say, than Boogaloo's. Boogaloo's, after the happy hour is over, it kind of goes back to being mellow, whereas Moomba's is much more of a dance kind of club-ish feel, where people are dancing and drinking all night, and they have the live bands and everything as well. So finally, to wrap up my whole trip here, one of our favorite stops on the entire island was the Aruba Donkey Sanctuary. Now, we had read that there was a couple different animal excursion type things. So there was a butterfly farm, there was an ostrich farm, and there was the Donkey Sanctuary. We pretty quickly realized that we wanted to go to the Donkey Sanctuary. We had so much fun the first day we went that we ended up going twice. So the first time we went, we just bought the feed there and let them eat out of our hands and everything. And then the second time, we actually went to Superfoods, bought some potatoes because we had read that they can do potatoes, carrots, stuff like that, and then brought them there. Word of caution. If you're bringing potatoes, the donkeys cannot eat whole potatoes. You're in for a little bit of work. They will give you a cutting board and a knife and you get chopping those potatoes. You have to make them bite-sized so the donkeys can handle them. So we had bought 2 5 kg bags of potatoes. So we were chopping potatoes for a very long time. But they were able to feed a lot of the donkeys and they loved it. And it was fun. We made a very nice afternoon out of it. And again, we liked it so much that we went there twice. It was just really cool. The donkeys are really sweet. They're, some of them get a little aggressive when you're trying to feed them, but overall they're just super sweet. We had so much fun. Finally, Aruba. I would definitely go back to Aruba. It's one of those islands that there is a lot to do, but you can also be super chill and do nothing. Going back for a second trip, I think there are things that I would definitely repeat. I would repeat Zero Rovers. I would go back to Baby Beach. I would go back to Arashi Beach. I would probably skip some of the sites like California Lighthouse. I probably wouldn't bother going back there. Alta Vista, I wouldn't go back there. Once you've seen it, you've seen it. I would go back through the national park. I rented Umagi again because that was very fun. And now I know a little bit more, so I would go back and do it even better. And then I wouldn't go to Gianni's again because it was very pricey. I might not go back to Renaissance Island a second time, just because I've done it once, unless I just really felt I needed to. But everything else I would go do again. I would go hang out at Boogaloo's. I would go and hang out at Moomba's. I would go back to the pancake houses. I would stay in the same Airbnb I stayed in again because I loved it. It was fantastic. Aruba is a really cool island. It's very chill. But you also have a lot to do. The locals are super friendly, super helpful. The Aruba farm was really cool, even though the tour isn't really, I would skip the tour and just go to the store. It's semi-interesting, but there's not much going on with it. It's a very short tour. But in any case, we had a great visit and would definitely go back to Aruba, outside the hurricane belt, and it was great, even though just because you're outside the hurricane belt, hurricanes can still affect you. We had that one day where it was high surf. The thing that bummed me the most about my entire trip to Aruba, because of the high surf, we had booked a trip on the Black Pearl, which some of you know from my planning video. I was super excited to go on a sunset cruise on the Black Pearl, only to have it canceled because of the high surf. It was for safety, I understand, but what a bummer. So one tip I will leave you with is if there's something you really want to do, book it for early in the trip. Don't wait till the end. We thought it'd be nice to do it towards the end as like a, last thing to do. But because the high surf, we didn't have time for them to reschedule it. There was no options there. We just had to skip it because they had canceled. So just know that. Book something that you want early in the trip. Well, that's all I have for you today on my recap. I know there was a lot to cover, but it was a fabulous trip. And I hope that if you like content like this and you like what I'm sharing with you, you go ahead and subscribe, hit the big thumbs up, smash that like button. That way I know that you like it. Please leave comments below. I am happy to share all of my tips, my tricks, trials and tribulations along the way. I hope you enjoyed my trip to Aruba. I hope you are planning your own. Let me know what questions you have. I'd be happy to give you some advice and help. Well, Travel Nation, follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. It's been a pleasure. Until next time, travel safe.